you know, that execution shit doesn't really matter. Just move the weight, man. Just move the weight. Execution doesn't matter. Well, there's a big difference between me doing that and actually engaging my back and making my back pull my freaking hands.
Oh my God, I'm just playing with them now, yeah. Oh my God, what she saying, say it loud, yeah.
We're gonna go over a different type of row this week. So the first 2 weeks, we did a single arm row on a bench. And what makes that different than what we're gonna do today is that was working your back unilaterally. So we're working one arm at a time, and that changes some things. So what that changes is that it makes it to where you can't load your back as much because you have so much that you have to manage in space. So last week, you know, you've got the bench on the ground, you've got one knee on the bench, the other leg is on the ground, and I've got one arm here on the bench, and I'm trying to row like this, right? Well, since I have to counterbalance and use my core and do so many things just to stabilize myself in space and so many things to manage to keep position, my motor neurons have a lot more to think about and a lot more energy to expend on things other than just contracting. What we're gonna do today is I'm gonna give you a chest support that is going to lock you in place. And it's gonna make it to where all that stability stuff that you had to manage in the row last week, you don't have to manage this week. This is just a typical row machine. You're gonna practice some of the same concepts we did last week as far as keeping a good posture, and you're gonna tighten your back, and you're gonna make your back pull your arms. And the biggest thing on this is that you're gonna see how far back you can pull, maintaining the path of motion. So as I pull and I get to about right here, what most people do to try to finish the range is they do this kind of a thing where they dip down and they do anything they can to escape the path. Their chest dips down. They do this thing called scapular tipping, where their scapula tips this way and their arm moves this way. The key on this is maintaining position of your torso and then keeping your forearms and your upper arm in the same path the entire time that you're moving. Now, one thing you may not be able to see is as I'm pulling, I am moving my shoulder blades with my arms. So my shoulder blades are traveling with my arms and they're pulling in this togetherness type of motion. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this bench over and I'm gonna move this bench over here. So I'm gonna do this. Boom. So I don't even have access to a chest supported row, but I'm gonna create one. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna bring that over to me, and I'm gonna pull myself in the same path with the support here. And what the support does is it locks me in place to where I no longer have to manage my torso, and I can create more mechanical tension by being able to add more load and maintain position, because I don't have to worry about myself in space anymore, because this takes care of everything for me. So if you have a gym membership and your gym has a chest supported row, just use that. You're just gonna have to basically take the same principles that I'm applying to this and apply them to your machine. We have to be a little creative here no matter who you are, because every gym has different manufacturers and different types of equipment. So we have to be adaptable to the instruction and apply that to whatever you have access to. I'm gonna show you one thing on Charlie really quick. There's a lot of bicep and back involvement when it comes to your back exercises. So when you're doing this, as your arm is all the way straight and you pull, the more Charlie bends his elbow, so the more elbow flexion he goes into this way as he pulls, the more his bicep is going to contract and be engaged. The more he drives his elbow down this way, here, like this, and moves in pure extension, the less his biceps are going to be involved and the more his back is going to contract. Because the motion that we're trying to do is shoulder extension. So we're taking your hand and we're extending your arm back this way. That's the movement. But what most people do is they pull high and they bend their elbow like this, so they get a ton of bicep involved. Now that's not innately a bad thing. It just means you're not gonna get as much from what we would think would be the purpose of this exercise, which is to maximize your back contraction. So the less you bend your arm and the more you can just pull in straight extension this way, the more of your back that you're gonna engage. All right, Charlie, you had your moment of fame here. This would be what I would use on an unsupported row, but I'm gonna change it for my supported row. I'm gonna put on a different accessory. I'm gonna put this on, and this is going to allow me to keep a little bit more of a anatomical plane because it's wider. The thing I hate about these here is that this is narrow. So look at this. Look at my arms. I have my hands, since they have to come in to match this handle, I'm not able to pull in my anatomical angle. So I'm limited because this is like internally rotating my shoulder. What I'm going to use here allows me to stay in alignment with my plane and my path so that I don't have to basically limit my range because this freaking thing is too narrow and it's pulling me in. That's why I hate these small little angles, these little handles. I avoid them at all costs. Okay, so I'm being innovative. I'm gonna go set number 1. Get my time ready, put a little delay time on there. Time is started. I come back here. Boom. Supported. Chest is out here in front. I'm gonna tighten my back. I'm gonna drive my elbows down. Squeeze and hold here. I'm gonna make my back fight this load all the way forward. I'm not gonna allow my shoulder blades to drift forward. I'm gonna keep them at neutral, tightening my back. I'm gonna see how far I can go back in pure extension without leaving the plane. So look at the position of my forearm in relationship to my upper arm. What most people do is this. They pull right to here, and then they do this kind of a thing. They tip down and they leave the plane. Whereas I am trying to maintain the same path the entire time. And the only reason my hands are going to go forward is because my back is releasing the tension and allowing my arms to go forward. Rest. Boom. Very creative with this. You could do the same setup really in any gym, but like I said, most gyms are going to have a chest supported row, so you should be able to find this machine. If you are working out at home and you don't have access to any of this stuff, I could take this band and I could just throw it over here like this. Hell, I'll just do the supported row. You could use it like literally take a chair like this. You could do a chest supported row at home. Now you're gonna probably want more tension on the band. Same thing. Different resistance profile, but pretty much the same thing. So you don't have to have a row machine to do this. We gotta be a little creative sometimes. 2 seconds, 1, let's go round 2. Okay, I'm gonna add a little weight. In position, hips are back, trunk is forward. I'm utilizing this chest support so that I can maximally engage my back. I'm trying not to bend my elbow too much to minimize bicep involvement. And I'm thinking about my movers moving me. Now, what are my movers? My movers are my lats and my back. My back is pulling my hands. I'm gonna squeeze and hold here as hard as I can, and I'm gonna make my back release the tension that's allowing my arms to move. 4-step rep. Tightening before I move. Squeezing through the range. See how my hands look like hooks? It's like my hands are just hooks. They're just in a pin, they're just attached, but they're not doing anything. My back is doing all the work. And that is like what, 3 reps? I'm not sure. That's time. Rest. There we go. 2 sets. Okay, the third set, I'll show this unsupported, just in case you don't have access to any of this stuff. And the way that I'm doing this, you know, I am in the gym all the time, so me getting into position is like shooting free throws. But to some people, this may be kind of hard, getting into position. So I only recommend this kind of a setup if you have to and you feel comfortable doing it. 30 seconds. Get your rest. So this row is, like I said, literally a completely different thing than what we did last week. More back engagement, more focus, more ability to generate tension. And the reason I did not throw it in the first 2 weeks is mainly just due to access. I know a lot of people don't have access to gyms. So I've got a lot of people using this from home. All right, here we go. So unsupported, very similar concepts. I'm on the top of my hips. I'm leaning my trunk slightly forward, and I'm gonna keep my chest up tall, moving my shoulder blades with my arms. I'm gonna see how far I can go back in pure shoulder extension, which is about right here. And then I'm gonna control all the way forward. I'm gonna pause here, engage my back first. This is a lot different than what you're gonna see at crunch. We're gonna see at crunch. You're gonna see a lot of this shit right here. This is basically no back, and you'd think I'm rowing a freaking boat right now. But just so you know, this exercise is called a row, but it's not a rowboat. That's not why this thing was designed. It's not what we're here to do. So what we're here to do is actually work your freaking back and not turn this into a cardio event. And the way you're gonna do that is by sitting on the top of your hips, tightening your back first, making your back pull your hands, and you're gonna try to maintain the same path of motion all the way to max shoulder extension. And fight every inch all the way to straight. Rest. It's called a row, but it's not rowing a frickin' boat. They're completely different things. And you just look like a clown if you're slinging around like that in the gym. And no matter what you think, execution does matter. The way you do the things you do dictate results. Just because Sam Solik and Jay Cutler mock exercise technique, Michael Jordan and Steph Curry and Tom Brady and Kobe Bryant, you never saw them mock, sport mechanics. You never heard Steph Curry say, the way you practice shooting a free throw really doesn't matter. You never heard Michael Jordan say, the way you practice your foot mechanics really doesn't matter. So why the fuck do you hear Sam Solik and Jay Cutler say, oh, well, that lifting technique shit, that's, I don't really worry about that. Why is it when it comes to lifting weights that all of a sudden the way you do the things you do don't matter? I'll tell you why. It's because that is the mentality from the 80s and from the 70s. And these guys haven't grown up and they haven't changed. But execution applies to everything you do, whether it's life or whether it's sports. The way you do the things you do matter. That's just sloppy. Let's go to our next set. This time we're gonna go back to a supported row. So I'm gonna put this right here. I'm gonna start my time. Time is started. All right, Hips are back, trunk is forward. I'm gonna engage my back before I move. Fighting all the way forward. What is moving what? It's our back moving our hands. What's the difference? Well, the difference is this. It's me just moving. You know, that execution shit doesn't really matter. Just move the weight, man. Just move the weight. Execution doesn't matter. Well, there's a big difference between me doing that and actually engaging my back and making my back pull my freaking hands. It's time. Biggest thing that we think about on this, going into too much elbow flexion, pulling high. I'll have somebody doing this and I'll say, hey, drive your elbows down. They'll be pulling like this, way up here. Hey, drive your elbows down. Then they do this again. Drive your elbows down, here. Drive your elbows down, here. So what I mean by that is literally drive your elbows down in this arc. Think of this as an arc. You're starting here, right? And then the arcing path is elbows are down and then they're moving progressively back. It's not a pure linear pull. It's an arc. That's the motion you're making. Down, progressively back. But this is as low as you're gonna go to that 90. So you're not dipping down here. You're keeping this position, maximal extension, and then it's an arc back up. So you're going out, back up, down, and back, then back up. That arcing path is probably what you need to be thinking about more than anything. I'm gonna do a drop set now. 90 seconds. So, is this program all about lifting light? Apparently not, because I've got this thing pretty freaking loaded and I'm still under control. I'll go for one more and I'll probably have to drop it. Go and drop it. A lot easier to get out of position. 60, big drop. Keep rolling. Tightening first, making my back pull my hands. What does this drop set do? It ensures that we're taking our muscles near failure, working them as hard as we can, and staying in that metabolic stress window that creates optimal hypertrophy or muscle growth. Eight seconds. I'm just going to hold. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Moving in that arc all the way to straight. That's it. Set number 5. Okay, let's go over the keys again. Here's the key to technique. So I'm here. Arms are here. You're initially going to drive your elbows down. So we're going to drive them down in this arc. And then from here, they're going to move progressively back this way into pure extension. And I'm going to go as far into this range as I can without losing this relationship. Look at how I'm at 90 degrees here. You don't want to be down here this way. I am saying this multiple times for a reason. I see this all the time, and I'll talk to people, say, hey, do you see how you're dipping down? Yes, and then they do it again. Hey, do you see how you're dipping down? Yes, and then they do it again. So I'm telling you this again because you're going to be the same way. So when you're here, I want you at 90 degrees and not going into scapular tipping like this and making sure that it's pure extension. And then when you come out of this position, I want you to listen close. I want you to release the tension from your back and make your back control your arms as you return to straight. And watch how my arms are slowly rising in this arc here and then we're gonna move back into this arc here. I want you to watch these details because these details matter, and people miss this shit all the time because you know what they're doing? The whole time they're looking at you and like, oh yeah, I got it. And they're thinking about something else and they don't got it. So you probably don't got it. So hopefully that helps. That's the end of the row. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you found this beneficial. If you did, please hit the like, hit the subscribe button. This will help me and ensure that my content reaches more people on YouTube. If you want to join the MGB officially, you can scroll down in the description and there are 2 links. One is to the Apple App Store and the other is to the Google Play Store. And you can join my app for free and view some free content. And I also have some really in-depth programs. I have a complete blueprint that's gonna walk you through how you can build muscle the most efficiently and the safest way possible. I hope you join me next time.